Hey, Chris and Mike, this is Superfan Jim. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on 200 episodes. That's quite the achievement. I haven't been around for all of them, but I've heard the majority, and I gotta say you guys do great work. So keep it up, and remember, there's no holding back now.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 200th episode of Superhero Slate. We made it. You are the best air horn sound ever, Mike. This is the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And I think we've used this intro for the same 200 episodes as well, Mike.
That's right. Don't mess with success.
It's exactly. This week, Daredevil did not see his cancellation coming on Netflix.
Chris, that just came out of you organically, didn't it?
It really did. I didn't have to think about it. We learned about Captain Marvel through pop leaks.
Oh, man, I love pop leaks.
That's also very organic for me to use that sentence in my daily life. And can we please just have that Avengers 4 trailer?
Come on.
And more.
Oh, man. Yeah, so this is the 200th episode. We've roughly been tackling on this show for 4 years. And Chris, If we're nothing, we're consistent.
Yes.
So that is the key for every podcast. If you want to get started, all you got to do is just do it consistently over and over again. Stick to a schedule. Have very caring and understanding significant others that don't mind that you have to carve out a section of your weekend every week for the foreseeable future. But the one thing that we were hoping for is that we could celebrate our 200th episode with that trailer, and it's not here. But I think that's even more annoying is we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there's a good chance that you could be listening to this podcast right now and click over and watch that trailer live right now.
Yeah, exactly. So. I've lost so much sleep this week staying up waiting for this trailer, and then it just never happened. So yeah. I don't even know. But I think also, when it comes to podcasting, I think you forgot the most important thing: lower your expectations. That's how we operate here. I don't know. I was talking to someone about it today. Again, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. I've been at Louisville Supercon all weekend. And I went today with my friend Jeremy, and we were just kind of talking about podcasting, and I don't even. It doesn't, to me, Mike. After 200 episodes, it doesn't this is just second nature. And earlier this week, we actually were FaceTiming with each other, and I even made a comment on. I'm like, this just kind of feels natural. Talking to you is via the podcast every week is like the most normal phone conversation I think I can muster right now in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Podcasting, I would say there's a learning curve to it, but it's not very hard. I mean, you just need to be in front of a microphone. I think for at least an hour. Maybe 2 weeks in a row, and then you just kind of get the hang of it. You got a handle on it. It's not like a super intense skill to learn. You just do your best to make sure there's no awkward silences. So you're always just thinking about what you like, and that's why we do a podcast about incredibly nerdy stuff, because I'm always thinking about nerdy stuff. I've been thinking about my Daredevil hot takes for the last 4 days, and how I'm going to talk about it on the show. So we'll be talking about that here in a minute. But Chris, there's a slightly more important news to talk about before we jump into our news. Is I got a very, very thoughtful and slightly expensive gift in the mail this week. The shipping was even more expensive than I thought it would be.
I'm sad that was on the box, but yes.
But without bearing the lead anymore, Chris, my illustrious co-host here, was nice and sweet enough to send me the most amazing birthday/Christmas present any boy could ever ask for. Is a PlayStation VR. That's right, the 3-dimensional headset that you strap on your head to jump into a virtual world. I think I just wore you down, actually. I have this innate sense of just barraging people with thoughts and things that I want, and all the homework that I do for what's the best PSVR to get. There's different versions, there's different bundles. I try to do the math piecemeal of what's it like buying it in pieces, and I've been doing that for the last couple months in our group chat, and I think you just got fed up with it, and you're just I got a buddy of a buddy who's selling one. I'm just gonna buy it and send it to him so I don't have to hear him talk anymore.
Well, it's one of those things, Mike, you're one of those people who well, the new PlayStation just came out. Well, what if I buy it and they put out a new one next month?
Yeah, I'm always worried that I'm going to be behind.
always worried about the next big thing.
Screw the fun I could have right now.
Yeah, so you got a PlayStation 4 a couple months ago to play Spider-Man, and you've been tearing it up with other games like The Last of Us. And this deal on this PlayStation VR just came through, and I was like, you know what, Mike needs this in his life, and I was able to get it and send it to you. And I think the best part about that whole, it was like an hour FaceTime conversation. How easy was that to set up and get going?
Technology, yeah. I mean, first of all, let's not even forget to mention the technology that lets us video chat through our handheld devices that easily. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then I basically just like plugged it in. Like all these cords have like different numbers on them, so you plug them into the right ports. It gets a little confusing because you're like, okay, well now my TV's not plugged into the PlayStation anymore. It's plugged into this breakout box, and the breakout box breaks out into the PlayStation. But whatever, I got it up and rolling, and I've had some different VR experiences that have varied very much throughout the last couple days. Because I would say VR is not necessarily a quick pickup type of session. Usually it's a little bit more thought out. But the very first thing I did with it, I think you were there on the FaceTime, was I just made the screen as large as possible. So it was like I was in an IMAX movie theater, and I played a little bit of Spider-Man. And that was really cool. That was awesome. I would love to actually do that in the real world, go to an IMAX screen and play Spider-Man. But I don't have to now. I actually was able to do it virtually. And then after we signed off and I went on my own merry VR way, I got to play the VR demo that kind of comes with it. Yes. And I played the little Astrobot demo, which came out last year, and then it turned into a fully fledged console game that's like $40 right now, which I plan on getting. So I got to play the little demo, and man, it is so cool because I think everybody out there, when they think of VR, they all think of first-person shooters or first-person games, and then you just happen to be in that body now, where you can like look around holding like a gun or a bow and arrow or something like that. But this is like totally different. It's a 100% platformer, but you're kind of looking down at your character. So like you can look around and you're kind of solving puzzles because you can kind of freely like move in and out and look at platforms and try to help your little dude around, which is really cool. And also your controller comes into play because what you can do is you can move your controller to like assist your little dude. So I can shoot like a little grappling hook out of my virtual controller in the game, and then I can move my guy over and he can jump on my grappling hook like a tightrope and like move him along like a platform. And it was just so cool and like so intuitive, really easy to handle. Like and the great thing about it was when my wife got home from work, I had her play that game, that exact same demo too. And she's not a super avid gamer. I mean, she understands like how video games work, but she doesn't, it's not as intuitive to her. So it was interesting watching her play the game because she played it almost in a totally different way. Like, so you have to rescue your little robot friends throughout this level, and they would like kind of call out, and she'd be like, oh, where is it? And she would like look around, try to find it, and she couldn't let any single one of them go, and she would like she kept dying on this one platform, but she was so determined to save that little dude. And she actually did something really clever where she was trying to get to a high platform, and if you just kind of do like a couple extra looks around a corner, there's like a little jumping platform. But what she did is she shot out her grappling hook on and then she got the little guy on there, and then she stood up in her chair, and then she lifted the controller up above her head because that lifted the tightrope, and then she was able to jump off the tightrope. And that's not something I ever would have thought to do. So that's really cool to kind of see how different people will interact with the VR. So that was really fun. I mean, I'm sold on the idea of platformers already, which was cool.
Yes.
But then I tried. I downloaded another demo disc, and I tried this game called Valkyrie, which I'm sure you've probably heard of.
Did you get sick?
Oh my god, like this so I knew about it a little bit from some videos that I saw, and like you just start off like you're in a spaceship. It's really cool. You have all these controls and modules in front of you, but oh man, I got so motion sickness. I didn't even think that was possible. I heard of all these people getting motion sick, but I was like, oh, these are people that just can't even stand going to see like a 3D movie or something. They just must have the most sensitive constitutions on the planet. But I was in it for 20 seconds, and I had to take the the headset off because I felt like I was gonna throw up, like when I was on a snorkeling boat in Cancun earlier this year. So I literally had to put it down and go sit down on the couch and watch some Netflix because I just couldn't, like, I felt like I was gonna puke. And like I went and got lunch like 2 or 3 hours later, and I still kind of felt like I didn't have my sea legs back. So the motion sickness is real. So I mean, it definitely shouldn't keep you from getting a VR headset if you're interested in it. It's just one slice of games.
Let me tell you, there are these things called ginger chews. You've heard of ginger when you eat sushi, that pink stuff that cleans your palate. So you can go get chews of these that are flavored lemon, mango, and I think there's a honey one. They're like a GNC or like a nutritional like kind of place. Pop one of those in your mouth before you go into those games. You will not get motion sick. Swear to God, I'm the biggest pansy when it comes to that stuff, and those ginger chews save me so bad.
I'll have to give it a shot. I mean, it was really cool because you have all of this full range of motion, but I think maybe a flying game might be slightly different because in space you have no horizon to tidally lock you onto something. So maybe it's just specifically space games, but it looked beautiful, so that was cool. So I tried some other things. I guess there's like a almost, it looks like a stop motion movie that's free. I don't know, maybe it might have cost money when it first came out, but when I got around to it, I watched a little demo of it on another demo disc that the Valkyrie was on. I think it's called like Owl You Met or something like that. But yeah, they're just these little, almost like stop motion-esque, like little 3D people all like playing through a story, and I could like zoom my head in, and I could do my own little framing around the characters. It was really cool. I have no idea how long the full movie is, but I downloaded it, so there's no interaction, there's no playing, but like, you know, like a cute little like flying boat, you know, will go in front of you, and then the character who's on top of the boat will go down into the hall, and then like the side of the boat will like reveal what's inside. It was really cool. So that was neat. It's kind of interesting to see all the things you can do with it. I think the thing that maybe could be improved on much higher end headsets, which I'm never going to pay for, is like actual 360 real life recorded video. So I watched some stuff on YouTube. I watched some things through like Little Star because, you know, movies with big enough marketing budgets, they always do some sort of like VR experience. So actual like real life footage, I would say doesn't look the best because I think the highest end like a PlayStation headset can do, at least for my normal PlayStation, is like 1080. Maybe the Pro I think has been like overclocked with some specific files, can do up to like 4K in the eyes, but yeah, so I would think maybe like a Vive or like a next level Oculus Rift could do like higher end video.
I think it's also part of whoever's recording. Like the early 360 video recordings were 1080 stretched in a full circle, so it could be some of the video stuff because I mean, to do a 4K 360 video is technically I think 2K because it's 4K stretched. So it could be the video, but yeah, I agree with that. Some of those are really cool on YouTube. Some of them are kind of lackluster. So
yeah, it just kind of almost depends on if anybody's really thought it through.
Are they trying? Yeah.
But I did. You told me for a while that I needed to download Rec Room because it's the one kind of VR thing where we could play together.
Yes.
And like I haven't even really made it past the tutorial yet, but I thought it was really cool because it was the first time I got to use the motion controllers, and it had me type in my email address because it's like, oh, before you play this game, you need to create an account. And I was like, oh god damn it, now I got to use this stupid pad and I got to type out my email address. But then I got to use my virtual fingers to type out my email, and I was like, this is so cool. I'm not even in the game yet. But then I had like my camera was like mispositioned. I was like fiddling with it before the game started, so it wasn't calibrated right, so I couldn't make it through the tutorial because I actually couldn't get the camera to register like my button press of whether I wanted to walk or teleport. So I got to go back into it when I get my camera fixed. But I got my account created, so I'm ready to roll whenever you are.
Yeah, I'm very excited because that one has paintball, archery, basketball. There's a charades even. Like that game for a free game is really, really cool. It's like a 3D chat room. So I'm very excited to get in that with you. I would also recommend getting the Spider-Man Homecoming VR experience while you can. That's also free. So it's the scene where Peter gets his suit for the first time from Tony.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen video of this online. We probably even talked about it on the show a while back.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, you got the Skyrim bundle even. I mean,
yeah. I keep forgetting I have a full-fledged game that came with the bundle that I need to give that a shot. But to make a very long, hopefully interesting story short, thank you very, very much for this. Just a beautiful gift, and I will do my best to repay you when you come out and see me in Comic-Con in July, man.
Yes, very much so. I mean, it's I don't know. It's just I saw it, Mike, and I thought you had to have it. And as we've been doing this, for almost 4 years, I mean, I just, since you don't live near me, it's hard for me to get you things on the regular. So I definitely I'm glad you enjoy it. Long story short. I'm going to jump into my news, Mike. I've been at Louisville Supercon all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I was just going to do Saturday, but I got roped into going Sunday. And I say roped, but it was a good thing. So I got to go back. This is the first Supercon in Louisville, Mike. So it used to be Derby City Comic Con about a year and a half ago. Very small convention. You could throw a rock and hit the back of the room. Like, it was kind of weak. They were bought out by the Supercon, which is a franchise, I think based in Florida. And this weekend, they were able to bring in a lot of vendors, a lot of artists, a lot of comic book artists, and ultimately celebrities at the end of the day. And when I got in yesterday, my friend Kyle, who used to play Halo with, he brought his brothers and one of their friends down for their first convention kind of thing. And we ended up, me, my wife, and him, we went all over the place, bought a bunch of pop vinyls, Mike. I'm going to be honest with you, because you know me. That's what I'm there for. I'm there for the pop vinyls. And, just kind of, I don't know, just walked around a little bit. It wasn't that cool. I mean, we bought, this is going to sound sad, but I got a hot dog and a Coke for $11. This food kind of sucks. But then I looked around. They have hot ramen noodle stands. Like, you get the fancy noodles in the cup. They have pulled chicken and pork barbecue stands now.
So you just made a poor decision of getting hot dogs.
I did. I just went to the first one because I'm like, because they showed a picture of a Chicago dog, Mike, and I'm like, I'm a sucker for this.
Oh, yeah.
They did not have the condiments for Chicago dog.
Oh, no.
It was just more packets of ketchup, mustard, and relish. So, did what I did, but it's cool. So the first day, I just bought a bunch of stuff. We came home. That was it. Today, I went back, and I got to hang out with a bunch of cool people today. First and foremost, I got to give a shout to Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. He's the owner of Vantage In-House Productions. He's got a really cool thing right now going called You Create Comics, where it helps walk people through the process of working on ideas and dialogue and creating comic books from the ground up.
Nice.
It's a really cool program, and he just does it. Takes it to schools, takes it to convention. He used to work for Wizard World on the convention circuit, so he's had a chance to host panels. Like, even with, like, his first one, I think, was with Sebastian Stan.
Nice.
From the Winter Soldier and people like that. So he's no stranger to this. I've known him about 8 years in the comic convention world. For my first C2E2, I met him. He was doing 8-bit art. And then the second year, I got to see Avengers 2 weeks early, and he's the first person I went to and was like, hey, Thanos is at the end of this movie, because he wanted to know. And now look where we are with Thanos in movies. So Victor subscribes. He lives not far away, so he listened to us down to Louisville and back. So I know you're listening, Victor. Thank you for hanging out with us. I got an interview coming up with him, Mike. We're going to put it on online somewhere that you can listen to. I talked with him. And then beyond that, I went and talked to Jim Shooter. Are you familiar with the name Jim Shooter when it comes to comic books?
Jim Shooter. It sounds awfully familiar. I feel like I've seen the name Shooter somewhere.
Okay, so most people know him from actually writing Secret Wars for Marvel back in the 80s. Okay. And he is he was an editor-in-chief for Marvel Comics for several years. And then he was also, I believe, one of the founders of Valiant Comics later afterwards.
That's rad.
So he was there signing books. I didn't have anything for him. I have a bunch of stuff for him to sign, but I didn't take anything. But my friend Jeremy was having him sign books, and we got to talking. He was just telling stories about working with Stan Lee in the 80s and, like, starting in comic books and going through it. He had some really good, so I guess, advice, like how, Marvel Comics, when Stan Lee was there, like how, like, DC had the artist, Jack Kirby and who's the other artist? I can't even think of him. Jack Kirby and
Steve Ditko?
Yeah, Steve Ditko. They weren't top tier artists in the time. They were like third string artists, and nobody really wanted them. So Stan was like, "We're gonna outstory DC by telling better stories," and then brought those names. So he's just the insight into Marvel was really cool. So I got some interview audio from Jim that we're gonna put up later, Mike, as well. I got to talk to and hang out with Dana Snyder, the voice of Master Shake. from Aqua Teen.
Which is great for you. You are a huge Aqua Teen fan.
Yeah, one of the biggest. So I bought his package, the full sheboygan is what he called it. And right here I have he did an autograph. I have a poster from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie film for theaters. Mm-hmm. And he actually did a guide on the poster where he wrote things on above people. Like, here are ninjas, here's lava, here's a jerk, here's a nerd. Master Shake is a cool dude, and he drew dots from the eyes down to this barbarian girl's boobs, like looking at the boobs. Like, it's really funny. Then I have a 3.5 minute audio thing, so we're gonna have some audio from him as well. He recorded an intro for the show. He did a voicemail recording for me, and then an alarm audio recording for me.
Yeah,
as well.
And when you give a podcast audio, you must stay subscribed, because that means it will pop up in your feed at some point in time. I think we're going to do like some show intros with them.
Oh, yeah, definitely him. And I also, after some detective work from Sean Gunn, brother of James Gunn, played by he plays Kraglin in the Guardians movies and does the CG for Rocket, he also recorded an intro for us when I got my selfie as well. But after the controversy his brother was in, via Twitter and all that other stuff with, the all, I guess, are they the alt-right, I guess, is that what we're calling
Sure,
them?
yeah.
Sure, whatever. He was like, he had to make sure that we weren't some white supremacist podcast before he did the recording for us. But I applaud his work there. So I've got that clip coming as well. And I think there's a
good chance that your girlfriend or wife, or possibly even your friend Mike here, also knows James Gunn as Kirk from Gilmore Girls, and I love
Sean
Kirk
Gunn
from Gilmore Girls. Yeah, Sean Gunn.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome shout out. I can't wait to tack it onto the show.
Yeah, and lastly, I got another interview with a cosplay photographer company called Great Unknown. They do cosplay photography for free or for donations, and then they donate that to flash drives for freedom. I don't know if you know what that.
Don't they put like critical news information on those, and they drop them in North Korea, don't they?
That is correct. Yep. So they go around all these conventions doing this photography for donations, or they charge if you like want a long shoot and stuff like that, and then all the proceeds go into that fund. So they were really, really cool people to talk to. I know they're listeners of the show, so I know Josh and Josette are listening. So hi, thank you for taking time with me today and interview. So I had a really good time at the Supercon, Mike. It was I feel they under promoted it. I bought comic books. I was telling you about this, the prelude comic books for all the movies. So if we ever have to argue about what happened in what movie, I can also go to the prelude comic books. I'm like, look, it's what the official comic book from Marvel says as well. So
yeah, that's some next level nerd man right there.
Yeah, exactly. I got almost a whole set of them right behind me. 11 of them picked up today. And lastly, the first Avenger, the movie. I actually have the screenplay book now. They had the screenplay book.
Oh, rad!
I thought that was kind of a cool addition to my collection as well. But Supercon, really awesome. If you didn't get to go, I would recommend maybe putting it on your calendar next year.
Skip the hot dogs.
Yeah, skip the hot dogs. Go straight for the ramen stand. But also, one day is way more than enough. So if you're planning on getting a weekend, probably don't. One day is adequate to cover the whole weekend. So I think it was a great way to kick off the convention season, great way to see people and get these interviews. And stay tuned as I go through them. I'm gonna have to clean a couple of them up, but we'll be putting them out, Mike, for sure. So
cool.
That's it. Now we're into the comic book movie news. We'll get to it here in a little bit. We have someone helping us on Twitter now, I guess, tagging us and all stuff. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But Daredevil canceled at Netflix after season 3, Mike. I mean, what do we make out of this?
I guess what we make out of it is you don't trust Vincent D'Onofrio, who told us just the other week, Daredevil is safe. I mean, we never really should have believed him to begin with, because I think we always assume actors know way more than they actually do. Like, like they just send them the scripts. Sometimes they don't even send them the whole scripts, and they just show up and they just stand in front of the camera and they read their lines. Some of them can be more involved than others, but yeah, we never should have trusted them.
Yeah, it's hard to say what's going on. I was reading an article today that apparently even the producers and TV execs didn't know about the cancellation because Netflix made it. Because they actually had pitched it. We saw the idea. They pitched season 4 last week as well, and I think they had some of the stuff planned out this week, and they're like, "Nah, stop right there. You're done." But what this makes me worry about is the shows left are actually Jessica Jones and The Punisher, And should we even watch them and care? Because we know they're probably going to get canceled right afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think that goes into the whole gist of it. It looks like you have a theory for me. So I'll drop what I'm thinking, then I'd love to hear what you think.
Go right ahead.
I think the simplest explanation is the right explanation, the best explanation. Netflix,
You would say that.
Netflix has analytics for everything. So this isn't some sort of weird like voodoo where a studio is trying to like measure success or whatever like that. They know people aren't watching the later seasons of these shows as they did at the very beginning. I mean, you're a perfect test case, Chris. You even canceled your Netflix subscription because these Marvel shows weren't even enough to keep you there. And also, all you got to do is look at me. I'm not even done with Daredevil season 3, and Daredevil is my favorite of all of these shows. So even I'm not carving out enough time in my schedule even to finish this season, even though that I'm liking it. So I think that's the answer right there. Also, we talked about, I think with Luke Cage, I don't know if it was a rumor or if like an actor had spoken out. I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said their social accounts weren't getting a whole lot of activity when when the second season of Luke Cage came out. So I just think there's not enough hype around these shows anymore to kind of get a return on their investment. I mean, they're greenlighting shows like Cowboy Bebop, and they're greenlighting, like, I saw that they're making like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like original series or maybe movie, and then they're also doing that sequel that everyone's always talked about, like the Glass Elevator. I have no idea what that is. I don't know where Charlie and the Chocolate Factory goes after that first iconic movie. So they much rather
elevator.
Yeah, they much rather take all of those dollars for shows that are just kind of dwindling. Even if they might have a decent audience, they want to reinvigorate. They want to be social. They want to be viral. My wife forced me to watch these Netflix Christmas movies called A Christmas Prince last night because I guess the first one last year went pseudo viral. To a point where Netflix even tweeted out that said, to the 53 people that have watched A Christmas Prince for 18 days in a row, who hurt you? So they have analytics, buddy. So nobody out there is watching the season of Daredevil like continuously for like 18 days in a row.
Well, so I'm gonna my theory actually piggybacks off of your
okay
thing, Mike.
We're along the same lines. That's good.
Yeah. So I don't think these shows are not going to be renewed on Disney Plus. I think we can both agree there, right?
I think I've actually heard some official statements out there. I don't know if they came from reputable sources, but yeah, I think even somebody over at Disney said that they're not planning on it.
So because Netflix has not been marketing these shows very well, I think is why the numbers are down. Like, because the marketing wasn't really good for them. Like, why do the Daredevil a month after Iron Fist 2, I guess? And what I'm kind of sitting here thinking is, numbers are down, these are bad, but also these movies don't connect really to the MCU at large, right? They just reference the Avengers. That's all they, like, the event, the incident from Avengers 1. So what if the Netflix still has the option to license these, right? Because Netflix is the one that we were told is in control of these shows. Maybe Marvel is jacking up the production costs and the licensing costs for all this stuff. So they're like, well, you still have it, but you have to pay us a lot more to make these shows.
Oh, I see. So you're getting a little bit more speculation in there.
Yes, because these are now costing Netflix a lot and they're canceling them, Marvel can reboot these characters into their MCU proper and all the channels that exist.
Yeah,
because
I think that makes sense.
Because we're going to talk about a show here in a little bit that is on Hulu, which will be majorly owned by Disney, and it has a very strange Doctor Strange connection going on there. Way more than any Netflix show ever did. So, and also, after Avengers 4, with a finger snap and people are dead, are they dead, are they coming back, whatever, they can tell any story they want going forward if they were technically dead and brought back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a longer game.
Yes.
You know, I think what Netflix did here was great. I you know, for the most part, I really like these shows, and I'm glad they existed. I definitely wouldn't go back and change anything, except for possibly with Iron Fist, and I think everybody would agree with me there. So I'm glad that they made them, but, you know, Netflix is like, they're almost a tech company, I would say, more than they're an entertainment company. So they need to always innovate and move on to the next big thing, because they're in a big competition competition. This isn't like ABC that's like cranking out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just because, it happens to fit on their Friday night schedule and they don't have a lot of competition there, but people seem to like it. This isn't that kind of equation. So I think this is a longer game where Netflix is just going to hold on to these properties, not Netflix, Disney is going to hold on to these properties for a while. And phase 5, phase 6, they're thinking the long term. I mean, if Kathleen Kennedy comes out and says she's not worried about The Force Awakens, she's worried about, the next 10, 20 years of Star Wars, I think, Marvel's thinking the same route. So I think they like having these characters ready to go. And I'm sure whenever they crop back up, they'll be recast, they'll tell new origin stories. But yeah, I almost kind of wonder, there's a cynical part of me that thinks these Marvel contracts aren't the same as they used to be. We know a lot about these contracts when it comes to Sony and Spider-Man and also Fantastic Four, because they had to make those movies every X number of years or they would lose the rights. I don't think Marvel has made those deals recently at all. I think all of their deals are very strict and contingent now on a certain number of years, and then they get everything back no matter what you do, and they probably have to get permission to do certain things with their properties, when it comes to teeing in with their cinematic universes. But also, I think you mentioned this a few weeks ago, maybe you put this idea in my head that it could exist, that there could be contract buyout clauses. Who knows, if Disney really wants this streaming service to really, kick Netflix in the nuts, there could be a clause in these contracts that says we can buy these back from you at any time that we want. It's probably going to cost a lot of money, but we're Disney over here. We got it. We don't want you to hold on to any more Marvel properties. We're making our own original Marvel television streaming series on our network. We don't want you making any more stuff. So here's $100 million. You can't make any more Netflix shows. It was a pleasure doing business with you before.
Wrap them up and get them done.
Yeah, so that's a possibility too. So, I'm going to watch Jessica Jones. I'm going to watch The Punisher. But it will be kind of weird, though. Like, what are those last episodes going to be like,
I mean, will they be able to wrap them? I mean, what I would love, and I told this some 2-hour-long episodes or 90-minute long, or 90-minute long episodes, wrapping this up completely with a little bow would be perfect. Like, doesn't need to be Defenders. Just be like, call it something else. Wrap it all up with a bow for all those shows.
It would be nice just to have one little adventure. It doesn't have to be something as cataclysmic as saving the whole city of New York, but it would just be kind of neat if they just all came together for just like one last stop, like a bank heist or something.
Yeah, and then they go their own way, and that's it. Everybody lived happily ever after. Also, there's a bunch of articles out there saying that all these new shows that they're making on Disney Plus and going forward are endorsed by the MCU. Kevin Feige and his crew, yes, they're in charge of them. They love them. These were not made with that same love. So I think this might be one of those things like, we just need to end them because we don't like who made them. We don't like where they're going. They're kind of a sore spot in some places based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe at large. I would watch, and I hate I'm saying this, The Dark World anytime over the Inhumans. Like, given the chance, I'd be like, you watch the Inhumans or Dark World? Dark World, put it on. I'm not watching the Inhumans anymore.
It's only 2 hours of my life anyway.
But exactly. Or I'd even take one episode. Like, you got one episode or 2 hours of the Dark World. Dark World it is. Okay.
Yeah, at least give me those high-end special effects, And Darcy, she's funny.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that this week. Darcy's funny. So, yeah, it's just, they need to, I guess, wipe this stain from the, like, yes, the Netflix has high things. Daredevil is good, but on the whole, the Netflix MCU is not a strong suit going forward.
Yeah,
so.
and we've been saying for a little while now that they're kind of running out of steam. If they wanted to continue, they would need a big shot of adrenaline of kind of like top tier AAA characters from Marvel, which they're just not going to get from Disney. So.
Yeah, or just to do something different that's not a hallway alley fight or something like that. So.
Yeah, they're running out of hallways. They've destroyed all the hallways in New York City. There's no hallways left.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Daredevil's canceled. Tell us what you think about Daredevil. I know a lot of people are conflicted. A lot of people are sad, but, when I was a young boy, shows got canceled all the time.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, like we said, Jessica Jones and The Punisher haven't officially been canceled yet. I mean, more seasons haven't been ordered, so... more than likely, they will be ended, but this is just a strong signal.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. We're rounding up, Mike. We're just calling it now. The Vision and Scarlet Witch show, apparently that will be the title of the show, Vision and Scarlet Witch, and Vision is confirmed for the show with Paul Bettany through some sources. So I think that's an okay title. I don't know what stories they're going to tell us, where they're going to go, but I like to think they're very, very different characters. Like, one's very logical and robotic, and the other one's very emotional and magical. So I'm interested to see where the show kind of goes. I mean, are you excited for this?
I think the title is the most direct title ever, which is hilarious. Yep. But it's almost, I would say, it's a title that you would see on a comic book, so it's not exactly too creative or too surprising. But also maybe they're thinking a little bit of just people browsing through their library. It's like, holy crap, did I just scroll by something that said Vision and Scarlet Witch? I know those characters. I'm going to watch that. Because not all people are on the same level as us, Chris. We know this show was coming from like 100,000 yards away. A lot of people will understand it because they'll just be Disney Princess people that'll subscribe to any Disney network that they ever put in front of them. So they're going to see like, oh, wow, this is awesome. So I'm excited for this show because I want to see what they're going to do. I want to see what happens when you take the level of talent and thought that comes from the MCU and try to distill it into a series, whether it's a limited run series or possibly maybe there's a season 2 out there, who knows. But I just want to see what happens. Is it just going to be like the level of what happens when you take a one shot and then you explode it into a series? Because that's kind of what happened with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the one shot got exploded into a series. So yeah, I'm just so interested in what it's going to be like when I'm inside of a Disney streaming service. You know, is it fun? Is it exciting? Is there tons of stuff to look at? Is it pretty trim and bare, kind of like the DC streaming app? I don't know.
I really don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see kind of how they all tie this together. Like, I want to, like, I've said this a billion times, I want to see this app actually have different things. Like, hey, I want to see a playlist for Marvel shows, randomize all of them for me. Or play me a chronological version of these shows. Like, I don't want to see just a library and, like, you go through and pick it. Like, I want to see some creativity in this, and this could be an opportunity to be like, oh, you like Civil War, like, let's catch up on Vision and the Scarlet Witch kind of thing. So I'm excited to see kind of what they can do and what they do with all these literally interconnected shows going on at the
one thing I really want, I love cliffhangers, which is one reason why I really like the Marvel movies, because of the end credit scenes. So give me an awesome cliffhanger from Vision and the Scarlet Witch that kind of dovetails me into Loki's show, and then maybe, you know, that cliffhanger will dovetail me into the Winter Soldier and Falcon show. So I want a little interconnection. That's what I love about comic books. That's what I love about the MCU. I love the connection. If it's not there, I don't care.
Do you think they should have an end credit scene after every episode?
That would be funny.
That would be pretty good. I'd enjoy that. The Runaways is a show Mike has not watched on Hulu, strictly on Hulu, but I've watched the first season with my wife. Really enjoyed it, Mike. However, the new trailer for this new season comes out this month, December. Looks like it might have a huge connection to Doctor Strange in this trailer here. Now, you did not watch the trailer. Fair warning.
I watched a little bit of it until where I saw a dinosaur in a shopping cart, and then I was like, holy crap, this show actually might be really cool. I actually need to go back and watch the first season. So I just skipped to the 137 mark like we have in our show notes here to see this Doctor Strange connection that you're talking about.
So Nico Minoru, she has the staff of one, and in the comic books, her staff has the ability to do a spell once. Like, it'll do any spell you want, but it can only do it once is the limit. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say shield and then do it again 10 minutes later. Once you use shield, it's done. You gotta get more creative with how you use the staff. In this spot, she's using the staff, and through the staff we see her eyes going into, like, I guess like ash and cracks, like Caecilius in the Doctor Strange and his disciples in the Doctor Strange movies, which is a huge connection to the MCU. What I'm thinking here.
Some dry eye skin there, but yeah, that's very much tying a show on Hulu into the MCU and their spiritual realm. I think that's big news.
Yeah, I mean, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did this as well with the portals, the sling rings. Ghost Rider could do those. So I think this gives this show a little more oomph in itself, because the first season is not very connected to the MCU at all. Which isn't bad. It's just, it doesn't say, like, this is in LA. It's not like, oh my god, there's aliens coming out of the sky in New York. They're not doing that kind of stuff. So if you want to catch this is a really cool show on Hulu. Season 2 is coming up. So I'd recommend it to everybody. But if you want to see that look, you can go check it out. The 137 mark on this video here. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is more of a, I guess warning.
Heads up.
Yeah, heads up. Early screenings have taken place this weekend. Like you can go get ticket to. Mike, you missed out on yours. I'm sad.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a screening in a couple of days this coming weekend that I saw, but I was way too late to. Definitely couldn't get tickets. And then like the next earliest screenings, like maybe like the Thursday, like an early on a Thursday. But if you're out there on social media following communities that like the same stuff that we like, you can't avoid everybody exploding about Into the Spider-Verse because the review embargoes are down. Everybody's talking about the reviews and the scores and everything. I mean, to cut to the chase, this movie looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I mean, the previews are great. The voice acting is great. The Rotten Tomato scores and the reviews are even up already. Like, that's how hyped they are for this. I'm not telling you what they are, but they are up if you wanted to go look for them.
Watch out for your Instagram Explore feeds because the algorithm knows that I like Marvel stuff, so they've been putting a lot of Spider-Verse things in my section. And I've seen a few. Luckily, these Instagram news outlets, I guess put quotes around the word news, geeky news outlets, you know, they put a lot of their news in albums. So the very first photo on their album will be a spoiler warning, and you swipe to the left to see the spoiler. But people are already talking about spoilers for Spider-Verse. So yeah, just stay vigilant. You only got to hold out for 2 more weeks, and then we can all go see the movie.
Yes, and in that regard, tickets are now on sale. So you can go buy your tickets for those opening weekends or see if there's an early screening in your area. There was none here, but I at least will know I get to go see it on Thursday. They're showing it at 5 p.m. on a Thursday. I'm like, who's doing this?
See, this is gonna be tricky because I don't think it's gonna be incredibly too hard to snag a ticket for this movie just because an animated movie is kind of already taken down a step or two when it comes to like same day premiere. Like, people are gonna run to a theater to see a live action Spider-Man movie. They're gonna be a little bit more timid. They're gonna be a little bit more timid for an animated movie because there's questions they have to answer themselves. Like, oh, is this a kids movie? You know, what's it rated? Can I bring my kid? And are there gonna be too many kids there? And I don't want to go because I don't want to watch the movie around kids. Should I wait a couple weeks till it dies down? You know, that's what we think a lot. Like, when we went to go see the new Wreck-It Ralph movie, I was super worried about little kiddos being in my screening, so we tried to go as late as we could during the day because the middle of the day is when all the kiddos come out. So a lot more questions you have to ask yourself before you go to a Spider-Verse screening, but I hope it makes a ton of money because I'm loving the art style. I'm loving the way it looks. I can't wait to get my hand on the art book to flip through it, but I will not look through it until I actually see the movie, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Well, it's a 2-hour movie. Just give you a heads up, so plan accordingly. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to go on Thursday, Mike. I haven't bought my tickets yet because, of course, I want to make sure with my wife it was kosher when we could get there and when I can get off work. So, Into the Spider-Verse 2 is already in development.
What? Sequel?
Yep. So if they have confidence in Spider-Man and all their properties now, you can believe it. What I think is going to surprise you the most is the director for this is Joaquim dos Santos, known for creating Avatar, Korra, and most of Justice League Unlimited.
And he is also a producer on Voltron 2, which has really taken off for people on Netflix. So yeah. I think that show actually just ended on Netflix. So he's getting freed up to make this movie. This is so exciting. I mean, for me, there's nothing cooler than seeing somebody be monumentally successful on the TV animation side. Getting I don't want to say promoted, like saying that like TV animation is lesser, but there's so much more responsibility and time commitment for like a one-shot just punch of a movie. So I think that's so cool that they're trusting somebody from like the TV realm to helm like this huge big budget just lump sum of a movie, you know. So I think that's so cool. I love everything that he's worked on, even though I haven't really dove into Voltron, but it looked beautiful, had the same type of feeling and love and care for the couple episodes that I saw. So this is so cool. This is so awesome. Like, and this is great because you know he's going to understand animation. He's going to know it through and through. So this isn't going to be like taking a director that just kind of understands making movies and then just trusts the artists to kind of make what he wants to make. Like he's going to know this whole process.
Well, I think his nickname is like the animation action king or something like that because he is known for his animated action scenes, being able to choreograph those and make them make sense in the animated scene.
Yeah, if you want to see some amazing fight scenes, there is some beautiful stuff in Legend of Korra. I mean, there's also amazingly good stuff in the first Last Airbender, but that's all standard definition, like 4:3 ratio. So when you get like this nice like widescreen, like fluid anime, it's great. Like I could geek out about this like all day, but this is so much good news. Like we just talked about like awesome reviews that are coming out for Spider-Verse, and getting someone like Joaquim to fucking, oh man, I'm so excited. This is so good. This is the animation side of me just like nerding out right now.
Yeah, and who'd have thought we'd be excited for a Sony Spider-Man movie?
I know, isn't that crazy? Like, yeah. I think what it really boils down to is this is a different studio. They might be on the same lot as like Sony Pictures in Culver City, but I'm sure it's like a different physical building with hopefully different people in charge. So maybe that's why they're making different, better stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's also we're in a, like I said, a superhero renaissance where like, yeah, do whatever you want to do, make sure it's good, and people, they're giving it to good people to make those good projects. So Into Spider-Verse 2 coming up. Also, another spin-off called maybe Spider-Woman or Spider-Women, either one is in the works from Sony as well. Another animated movie following the female spider characters such as Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen, Silk, Madam Web, Spider-Girl. There's a ton of them. So it looks like they're maybe taking a Captain Marvel approach to this and be like, female-led movies, let's do that.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. I kind of did a little bit of a research deep dive into Spider-Gwen just this past week because I didn't realize her character exploded as fast as she did.
Yes.
I knew she had a really slick character design, and also bringing kind of Gwen Stacy back into the fold in the comic books was exciting for a lot of people, but I didn't realize she has like 4 comic book runs going right now. This isn't just kind of like a one-off character that has like a from the Spider-Verse that just has a story running. She's like in 4 different comics right now, which I thought was crazy. And she's only been around for like maybe I think like 2 or 3 years. Maybe I'm off by a year or 2.
This is her 3rd year. So in 2015 there was actually called, I think, the Spider-Verse event, and she was created in like one of these little small, I guess, intro stories. Like, here's some characters, like you need to learn about them because they're going to show up into the Spider-Verse. And yeah, that book is going for a lot of money, by the way. But yeah, she's gone through several. I think she might be up to issue 30s, in the mid 30s for her new run right now, which is unheard of for a comic book property right now.
Yeah. And this is why animated movies are great. There's so much less heavy lifting you have to do to convince a live action world that all of this stuff makes sense. In an animated universe, you can just take it wholeheartedly that there's people out there with powers calling themselves Spider-Gwen coming from different dimensions. In a real live action movie, you got to hit just the right perfect tone or your audience is just totally going to check out, kind of like how I did with Kingsman 2, when things just got way too wacky and goofy and it just got too unrealistic for this real world setting. But in an animated movie, you can just go balls to the wall and you can tell these crazy stories and bring in all of these different characters, and no one's going to be too worried about it. So I think this is awesome. Let's take all of the money that we possibly would have given to a Venom sequel and just make more animated stuff. Screw this Morpheus movie. Make an animated Morpheus movie. Jared Leto can do the voice acting. I don't care. He can do the motion capture if he really wants to act. He can be the next motion capture king out there in Hollywood. But screw these live action Sony stuff. Just give me more animated stuff.
Yeah, keep up this quality and we'll all be happy. You will not hear a single complaint from us. Speaking of live action Sony movies, Venom is coming to home own video this week, which is actually like really quickly. Is it 2.5 months?
Have you seen the promo that they're cutting for this home release?
Is it the romantic comedy?
Yeah.
They're leaning into this weird stuff on this one, man.
I mean, this is all clever. I mean, the advertising they did in China with those little web
Boyfriend
comics
Venom
was clever.
Yep.
This kind of recut of the trailer is like funny, but it doesn't matter what you do on the outside. I didn't like the movie, so I don't know. I guess they're having fun with it, maybe leaning into it. They know kind of this stuff worked for Deadpool, so
Well, what do they have to lose at this point? They've made more money than Wonder Woman did in the theaters. So
yeah,
like,
I guess that's true.
If we don't sell any, no big deal. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I like to think that if they didn't reach that money threshold, they never would have been able to hire an editor to recut it as a romantic comedy. So like, hey, you're only getting this marketing because we made money.
What if some fan did it and they just bought it from him? They're like, hey, we want this for you.
I mean, maybe there's people out there that do that just for fun.
Yeah, so this is coming this month. So if you're a huge Venom fan and you really like the movie and you just gotta own it, it's this month. You don't have to wait forever. I remember it used to be months, but now it's like 2 months away.
Such a weird time for just Marvel properties. You know, there's so much going on outside of just the MCU, and like the DCU over here is they're just really trying to kickstart the engine, trying to get it going, trying to understand how to even make a franchise, and
or
so
just
we just
a
gotta
movie.
yeah. So over here they're struggling just to get one movie out, and Marvel's just like, who's making the next TV series? Who's got the license? I don't know. Let's hire a couple more lawyers. I don't know what's going on.
Venom, sure, make it. Whatever. We don't care anymore. There's also been confirmed an extended after credit scene with a special character, if you haven't seen the end of it, which I'm trying not to ruin, but we all know who it is. So if you like the end credit scene, expect a longer one to be on the home release. I expect to see it on YouTube in a couple weeks, so whatever. But
save your money. Don't give any more money to Venom. You're just encouraging them.
I'm probably going to get it. Put it beside my Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
That's a good place to put it.
Yeah. But in front of Spider-Man 3. It'll always be there. The Black Widow movie is confirmed to start production next year for a 2020 release. I'm calling it May. It's coming out in May.
All right. I mean, I think we kind of already assumed that was the year, so we got our confirmation. Now we're just going to cross our fingers and hope everything goes well.
Wait for San Diego Comic-Con for them to finally give us the title and the official release date in Hall H.
And then
cross our fingers.
And then we got to see the concept art. We got to get leaks of who's cast, and then we're gonna try to assume whose cast is attached to what villain, what story they're trying to tell.
Oh no, we'll find out when the Funko Pops release and be like, oh, that's where it is. That's where it is. Which we'll talk about in a second. So while we're doing this, Mike, we have I say a conspirator or a co-conspirator on Twitter right now. The handle @CLKidman tweeting me live right now while we're doing this. Like, I don't know if you've been getting that on your phone or not.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we don't know who you are. We don't know if you're a new fan of the show, if you've been a long time listener. But we love that you're reaching out. You're basically slinging as much news as possible, and I've just been avoiding it and throwing it back at Chris because, like, I don't need this stuff. Give it to Chris. He's the one that makes the show notes.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've been going with this. A lot of the stuff. I mean, I'm going to see it, but it's good to see it again from somebody else from different sources. So that's really cool. Right now, there is for Avengers 4. There was no trailer during the Collider screening last week, right?
Oh, man, this Collider screening. There is so much like psychological analysis going into this, where we're just like, oh, would they possibly even release a trailer this late at night? We're like, when is the screening over? Has the Q&A started? Do you think we're going to see the trailer after the Q&A? And then somebody at the Q&A just straight up asks, like, are we going to get a trailer? And they're just like, no, don't ask.
They're like, no Avengers 4 questions. And everyone's like, oh, we're out. We're leaving. Why did we even sit here? But apparently there's some Q&A stuff out there, some questions, like some answers, like, you know, Loki is dead. Like, there was a theory that Loki turned into Bruce Banner. I'm like, no, that's dumb. No one's doing that. Some stuff like that. So if you want to see that, you can go look it up on Collider's site. You can actually see the whole Q&A session. They videotaped it, so you can watch it there as well. We didn't get a trailer. However, the strong rumor from multiple sources right now is the trailer will be this actual Wednesday, December 5th, right now, Mike, during Good Morning America.
Well, I mean, I think because, like you've been saying, you've been setting the drawing the line in the sand with the Prelude comic that's coming out for Avengers 4. So there, like you were saying, how do they title this comic book? It can't be Prelude for Avengers 4 because that's not the title of the movie. So at some point, these comic books are in boxes and they're going to be shipped to comic book stores. So we're going to know the title of this movie physically by looking into a box sooner or later. So the trailer needs to come out. So I think a lot lot of people are in a big fervor kind of waiting for it, because it's been due for a while. I think they're a little overdue, so we can finally get this trailer. But I've actually seen some people on Twitter trying to tell us or other people in general to calm down. It's just I'm not calming down. Did you see Infinity War? That movie was awesome. That left on one of the biggest cliffhangers I ever seen in a movie, where everybody died. I gotta see the trailer for the next movie. I am excited. I am not mad in any way. I'm just excited, so I want to know when it's coming. So we have this Prelude comic coming out.
Which will be in stores Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're the Russo brothers are out there in the world, they're doing things. They have scheduled events coming up. We're just trying to pinpoint this trailer because I gotta know what's gonna be in it.
We are in the end game now, Mike. This is the final month of the year. They cannot hold anything back now. Kevin Feige said we get it before January 1st, and by God, I'm holding him to it. The poster is rumored to just be the A poster in a new color, which is fine with me. They've been doing that for every Avengers movie. Mm-hmm. And the Russos are scheduled to be at the Game Awards on Thursday. Now, why is this important, Mike?
Yes.
Because there's a video game in progress called The Avengers Project from Square Enix, who are known for their Final Fantasy games, for consoles and I think PC. And it could get its first, we've seen a teaser, it could get its first footage on Thursday with the Russo brothers there promoting this Avengers Project.
Yeah, which does kind of make sense, where this could be a big Marvel marketing week. They could just be making this huge push. They're finally far enough away from Thanksgiving and the holidays. People are kind of back at it in the swing of things. They've made it away from the shopping season and everything. Christmas is just kind of starting to kick off here in the United States. It's going to be a fever pitch here in a couple weeks when a lot of these big movies come out. So this is almost kind of their only week in the month of December to really hit hard these movies coming out in January. So I think they're going to hit it hard. Like you said, they might be announcing a video game, which will be cool, because we've really never had a AAA MCU video game.
Right. All the other ones were made by Sega, and there are a good one or two, but the rest blow. I will tell you that right now. I own them all in there, and I don't like them. The last good game I remember playing was Ultimate Alliance, honestly, with all the characters. Now, with this footage coming out on Thursday with the Russo brothers, they can be like, well, this game is scheduled to release maybe next winter or summer, because this, if you time it with Avengers 4, Spider-Man Far From Home, we have nothing between July/June until May of the following year, Mike. Mm-hmm. How are we going to get our Marvel characters in that timeline without anything? And this video game could be that answer.
Yeah, I just hope, since the Russo brothers, it looks like they might be announcing it, they're going to be at a high profile video game event. This isn't just going to be some sort of leased out IP thing. I'm hoping this is up to the caliber that Spider-Man was. Mm-hmm. That is an amazing video game. And I say that, and I'm physically pointing to the other room where the game currently resides on my console. That is one of the best video game superhero movies I've ever played in my entire life, and that is the bar now. If you're gonna put your money where your mouth is, you have to get to that level of superhuman experiences. So I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than web slinging around New York City, punching dudes, going through actually a really, really fun and thought of story. So I really hope they can hit the nail on the head when it comes to a game like that. Or if they want to go ahead and they want to abandon a story game type, at least if it's going to be maybe a PvP type of game, that's fine too, but just make sure it is just so finely tuned. We get to play every single hero we've ever seen in any of these movies, and maybe a couple extra. That would be great. Just give me something amazing. We've all wanted some sort of AAA top tier title that wasn't just some sort of Thor the movie, the game,
Yeah, exactly. And what Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, the team making this game, they're behind the new Tomb Raider series. They're behind the Deus Ex game series. This is going to be on par with Spider-Man when it comes out. Yeah, hands down. So I
got a video game console in my possession now, so I can actually play this.
Hopefully they have a VR mode for it. That's all I'm saying.
That'd be rad.
So I think we're going to see some footage Thursday. I think we'll have an Avengers 4 trailer Wednesday, and then Captain Marvel has, as of right now, from what I've seen, a confirmed trailer tomorrow during Monday Night Football.
Whoa! So if this is going to be during Monday Night Football, this could possibly be a shorter trailer. I mean, who knows? Disney's got the money to buy out a whole commercial spot, you know.
Well, I think they may own the network it's on, even.
Oh yeah, that's true. They might do that. So yeah, this would be crazy. So this would be our second Captain Marvel trailer, right?
It would be the second. So we saw the first one. We're gonna talk about the pop vinyl / official release of that. Everyone right now, Marvel, if they do Captain Marvel on Monday, Avengers on Wednesday, a new game on Thursday, this is the week that we may die, Mike. This is where everything's going to pile up, and then our 201st episode will be the best we ever had.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that too. You know, all of our favorite TV shows, they don't start on episode 200. They start on, you know, episode 201, 101, 301. So really, we're not really kicking off this second season of Superhero Slate until 201. So make sure you're subscribed. Come back next week. We got tons of trailers to talk about. Hopefully we maybe have a trailer for this video game. Maybe even like a little, probably not actual gameplay footage. Maybe like some a rendered trailer. That would be cool.
Well, they already have a teaser trailer for it, so this would be gameplay. Like this will be gameplay for the consoles. What we're expecting.
Ooh, all right.
Because they've already done the tease with this. They've already
And Chris is going to buy the Prelude comic, and he's going to read it, and he's going to let us know if there's anything that we can pull out of there. Yeah. So it's going to be a Marvel-heavy week. So that'll be next week, and then the following week, we got movies coming out soon. So this is going to be a jam-packed month. That is for sure.
The week after that will be Into the Spider-Verse spoiler cast. And then possibly I don't think you'll see Aquaman early, but Aquaman the week after that. we are at our tipping point, Mike, for the end of the year. This is great.
Yeah, and Deadpool's floating out there too with his charity movie that I guess I'm going to go see now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Once Upon a Deadpool. But what's important to me are my pop vinyls, Mike, and the Captain Marvel pop vinyls were leaked and then officially released. So here, the first image, we're going to take a look at several of the pop vinyls, which is a big page of, 5 times 315 of them, which is a big list of pop vinyls. As you can see, some of them are very exclusive to different places, chases. But I think what's interesting here is, the first and foremost is, if you find Carol Danvers in the middle, Mike, in the blue suit, what is her name there?
Carol Danvers. Yeah, I can't. This is it's a little blurry for me. I can't really see it.
Yeah, so her name is Verse, Vers, when she's in her green outfit, probably with the Kree army. So if we know her brain and memories are getting rewritten, maybe she doesn't know her name is Carol Danvers. She thinks her name is Verse, and she's a Kree member.
Oh, maybe that could be possible. Okay, I think I'm seeing the graphic that you're on now. I was looking at the larger one now.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at this cat right now, Goose.
So in the comic book, Kelly Sue comic, she had a cat named Chewie, which is named after Chewbacca, who was actually another creature rather than just a cat. It was some alien. In this one, we get Goose the cat. Now, why do you think Goose is important to Captain Marvel?
Man, because Goose is cute. That's all I know.
Goose is the character in Top Gun. Is one of the characters in Top Gun. So she's an
I see what you're saying. Okay.
If she's an Air Force pilot, and then she has a cat named Goose, she named it because of Top Gun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I think the biggest takeaway, which is probably what you're about to talk here, is the Mohawk helmet.
Not even the Mohawk helmet, if I was going to be honest, actually. So that kind of does that clear up our Mohawk conversation from last week?
Yes. So we will be seeing the Mohawk and the helmet in this movie, because we thought maybe this could be something we would see in Avengers 4 when she teams up with the rest of the gang in the future or present timeline. You know.
So when her suit gets repainted red and blue, she becomes Captain Marvel. But I think the far right of this image, Mike, is the character Jan Rog. That is...
I didn't even know I could scroll right. Oh, this image is huge.
It is ginormous. That is Jan Rog. That is Jude Law's character, and not Marvel. He's not going to be Marvel. He'll be Jan Rog, which is another Kree who was an enemy of Carol Danvers in the comic books. So I think that's a big takeaway, because the second image, I think, is the one you clicked on. In the official release, they changed his name to Star Commander to hide the fact what his real name is in the promotional materials.
Well, it's too late, Pop. It's already out there.
Yeah, too late, Funko / Marvel. You done ruined it with that. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. We know some of these characters now, and I'm interested. I mean, I'm still hyped to see all this. But if this came out this week, Mike, that means I think the trailer is going to launch this week as well. Because,
and technically, I mean, we always forget that the very first trailers are technically teaser trailers. So our first full official Captain Marvel trailer, if that's coming out, that does make sense, because that's where you'll actually see like characters' names probably get revealed. It'll be a larger trailer that kind of hints more to the story of what's going on here.
You get to see the kitty. We'll get to
I get to see the cat. Is there 2 pops for Goose the cat?
There is 2. One's called, if you notice, one says flocked on it in the left. It's got the purple sticker. That means he's fuzzy, like a
kitty. Okay.
I mean, there's also a young Nick Fury in there, which is really cool. You get her on a motorcycle. Pop vinyls are a whole different world. Man, I'll tell you that right now. So, But this is going to be interesting to see the trailer tomorrow on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and I think I say this all the time. I love it when toys leak information, because like just the movie studios, they have so much going on because they're actually trying to make the movie and keep the movie from getting spoiled. They forget about the licenses that they give other companies. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, okay, Funko, if you want to keep making our pops, you're going to have to open up an office in your building over there, and we're sending over a lawyer, and he's going to look over everything you ever do all day.
Yep, exactly. There's the toys are like, oh well, we ruined it now. So I think they'll still keep making Marvel ones, sadly. So we got a little ways to think about that. We're gonna switch gears and talk about some other comic book stuff. Little DC news here. Zatanna, you're familiar with Zatanna, right?
Yeah, my wife cosplayed as Zatanna a couple Comic-Cons ago, and we went and we bought her first appearance, which I believe was in a Hawkman comic.
Okay.
Was her first appearance, so we own that. So Zatanna's pretty cool. She talks backwards, does spells. She was in the she's in different incarnations of like the different animated Justice League. So if you're a Zatanna fan, there's plenty of stuff out there for you.
Well, she was originally planning to be part of the Justice League Dark movies, but now they are talking about just a Zatanna movie being discussed at Warner Brothers as a whole.
All right.
This also, the report goes on to add, Supergirl and Batgirl are also in the plans, ahead of a lot of other contenders, which means they're taking a focus on female characters over at DC right now.
So this is just kind of taking me back to what, maybe a year ago, when we were probably having these same conversations of just like, oh, they're making a Birds of Prey movie, and they're making 4 Joker movies. Oh, and they're also making these other films. So they're making a Suicide Squad too. Well, why are they doing that? So I guess, I'll hold my breath and wait to see if any of these come out. But at least there is a purpose, or at least statistics out there that move them towards these female movies. They're like, hey, Wonder Woman worked out really well, so let's make a bunch of these female-led movies. So at least that makes sense. At least they're kind of focusing in a direction,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And they kind of... They're seeing what's working right now. The Supergirl movie or TV show is doing great. Batwoman is in there, but Batgirl's always been on talks, so maybe we'll see what's going on there. Another character in the talks is Blue Beetle, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show. This is the Jamie Reyes version, I believe, who was in Young Justice, right?
Yeah, he was a big part of Young Justice.
He's one of the newer Blue Beetles. So the Blue Beetle, it's an alien... I don't know if it's a parasite, but it's like a scarab, bonds to the person and gives you abilities, like a suit of armor that can.
It's almost kind of like mix Venom with Iron Man. Yeah. So it's a suit of armor that chooses you. You can't just like take it off when you want. And I'm sure there's maybe incarnations of stories of the Blue Beetle, maybe where he doesn't get along with the armor. But at least in the cartoon show that I watched, he seemed to be getting along pretty well with it. But I think, that varies and fluctuates depending on... Because different aliens can kind of show up on Earth with also this armor that I think they can manipulate it. I don't remember all the storylines, but the Blue Beetle seemed to be pretty popular there. So maybe... DC's kind of ready to get their Iron Man kind of Venom sauce on,
Yeah, I think there's only been one live action version. I think it might have been in Smallville as well. So I mean, they're looking to maybe go towards the. Jamie Reyes, I think he's a Hispanic descent. We talked about, so going in that multicultural route. There have been other Blue Beetles, so it could be a mentor kid thing because I think he's a younger kid. To be in Young Justice, so. I don't know much about the Blue Beetle. I played as him in Injustice, so he's really fun in Injustice to play with because that suit makes all sorts of fun armor and weapons. But so that's in the talks, and apparently these new movies are taking precedence over the Flash and Man of Steel 2, which we thought were already going to kind of almost done things at DC. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think? I mean, I would like to see a Flash movie more than I'd like to see Man of Steel 2. But we thought, I mean, Henry Cavill could be out as Superman. Like, what is going on over there?
I think the word momentum is the perfect word to use. I mean, who out there is clamoring for Man of Steel 2? People already forgot that the Justice League movie ever came out. And Ezra Miller, he's going on and basically jumping headfirst into this new Fantastic Beast franchise. So he is going to be busy making those blockbuster movies. I'm not saying he probably couldn't fit a Flash movie in his schedule somewhere, but I mean, the DCU is just still trying to turn the ship around and ride it, and and trying to get the buckets full of water outside of it. They're doing the best that they can. So maybe what they could do, here's a strategy. So you develop kind of all of these like one-off characters that we're not too familiar with. Give us a couple awesome Shazam movies, Mm-hmm. Give us a really cool Blue Beetle movie. Bring some of these like lesser top-tier Batman characters into the fold. Give us like a Batgirl movie and a Supergirl movie, and have them all out and doing stuff. And then maybe after about 5 or 6 years of these movies, and hopefully they're all really good, then just, go ahead and recast Superman. Bring them back in. Bring the Flash back in. And we haven't seen them in a while, so we're going to be okay with the recast. And then maybe reboot it from that end of the franchise. That could be a possibility. And then actually, one thing that's really cool about Young Justice is that you're really focused and you really love these younger other type of characters that have superpowers. And then when the big, bad, awesome adults like Superman and Batman show up, they're even more special because that even the characters you love on the show are looking up to them. So I think that's almost kind of how Superman is kind of looked at in the Supergirl show, where, Supergirl is our character that we root for, but then every once in a while when Big Bad Cuzzo shows up, Superman, it's even more special. So that, that could be a possibility, but, who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for them to do stuff, but they got to earn our trust, like you said. And, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, they weren't big name characters when they started, so if DC needs to pull some middle range characters to get them going and get them up and going, I'm all for that, So we may have to put our Batman, Flash, and Man of Steel 2 wishes on the back burner for a minute until.
What about my Cyborg back burner?
Oh, he's way back there. He's way back there.
He fell off the stove.
We kind of forgot. He's behind that thing. You just can't pull it out and get him. So you're like, well,
yeah,
he'll work his way out. I don't know. Lastly, Hellboy got us a new image this week from Empire magazine, and if you're an Empire, guess what that means? Probably a trailer
soon. Yeah,
I've seen the leaked trailer. You were holding off because you thought it'd be that same week, and it just never came out.
Yeah.
So that trailer is really cool. I'm really hoping for everybody to see it. One thing about this looks like Ron Perlman's Hellboy a little bit, but I mean, I'm very excited to see it. Like, it's hard to not make Hellboy look like he really is in the comic book. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, this is one of those internet memes. I think everybody's calling big, thick stuff on the internet absolute units. This is an absolute unit of a Hellboy. He is wide. He is a wide son of a bitch. I mean, he looks like he could crush you. Like this is like a linebacker version of Hellboy, and he's just got so much more prominent like cheekbones and brows. I mean, this guy, I would be so scared to come across this guy. Ron Perlman's Hellboy, I would say, is a slightly more approachable. Still like a red-skinned demon, so you don't want to go anywhere near it. But I love this kind of meaner looking version of David Harbour's Hellboy. So it's been so long since that leaked trailer had come out, because didn't that trailer come from some sort of like press event?
It was like a
Russia or something like
Russia.
Yeah, exactly. So the trailer we end up getting could be even improved. It could be slightly different. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully they don't decide to drop this trailer on the day Infinity War comes out. But hey, maybe this could be like a Thursday trailer or something like that.
Well, not with those video game trailers. Make this my Tuesday. Give me 4 days of trailers, Mike. That's what I'm talking. Man. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
a Hellboy trailer,
Avengers 4 trailer every day. Yeah. Speaking of that, I actually have a 12-pack Marvel's 12 Socks of Christmas thing. It's like an advent calendar for socks.
Oh, how's that been going? Are they ready to open yet?
Yeah, day one was yesterday, because it's you do December 1st, I guess my wife said, and it was Black Widow socks. So I have Black Widow socks, which I'm like, interesting choice for men's. And I haven't done day 2 yet. I'm very excited to go see. I think it's Rocket Raccoon was on the cover, so I think I want to get some Rocket socks. So.
Ooh, I hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, Hellboy, if the trailer comes out this week, we'll let you know, but hopefully it's not buried under all the other good news we are so hoping to get. So hoping to get.
Please
give it to us. Well, Mike, that's our show this week. We went a little long here, but that's okay. We have lots of news, lots of fun stuff to talk about, and it's a good week. We didn't get what we wanted, but I still feel like it was a pretty good week, Mike.
Yeah, sometimes Christmases are just like that. You don't always get what you want. But damn, if this wasn't a 200th episode, I look forward to 200 more with you, Chris. On episode 400, okay, quick prediction. Episode 400, which will be about,
4 more
50,
years.
Yeah, 4 more years. What do you think we're going to be talking about on episode 400?
And that's 2022? I don't even know if we'll have Guardians 3 by then, man. I think we'll be talking Fantastic Four and X-Men in the MCU.
Isn't that crazy that we, by episode 400 of this podcast, we might not even be on the other end of the next phase of the MCU yet. We'll be like just in the middle of it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know if they'll call them phases after that. They might give them new names. But I don't know. I think that's what I would think we'd be talking about. What are you thinking is going to be on our radar?
Man, I'm just going to probably be complaining about stuff, I'm sure. They're going to be on, like, Venom 6 and be like, why are they still making these? And how did they get 6 of them made in 4 years?
If they can do it with Harry Potter, they can do it with Venom, man. It's a lower budget.
Venom cinematic series. Actually, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but I think by episode 400, we won't be talking about the DC streaming service anymore.
You think so? That's pretty low.
I think so.
Titans is almost wrapped up. Titans will wrap up this month, so... we've been asked to do a little talk on that, maybe. So maybe we'll get around and watch an episode.
Now, I don't think necessarily the content will disappear, but I think there'll be some sort of PR lingo out there that says, "Oh, we're folding our DC app into our Warner Brothers app," because that actually is coming out next year. So I could kind of see them just kind of phasing this niche streaming service away and just only taking the stuff that worked and moving it out of there.
So you're really excited for the Spider-Man universe streaming app, is what you're saying?
From Sony. Exclusively. Crackle's going to be rebranded for only Sony stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man. Please don't. Please don't. Well, if people want to find out what you're doing, what you're up to, maybe a nice picture of you in a VR headset, because watching people play VR is just as fun as playing VR yourself, I'll be honest with you. So where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, you were just at an awesome first-time convention down there in Louisville. I'm sure you picked up some sweet swag. I hope you take some pictures of it. If people want to see what you copped at that convention, where can they find you? You
can find me on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN, or Instagram, Valdan87. I took a picture of those books I bought. I'm going to put them all together. Let you know how much of the MCU preludes I know. I know a lot about before the movies, not the movies themselves, And also, like I said, I'll be putting these audio clips and interviews up as I can get to them. Coming up, you can also head over to Comic UI. I put up. We're on the MCU watching order. Countdown to Avengers 4. Can you believe that already? We had to start in November. We have so many movies.
Yeah, in a couple years, you're just gonna have to get started a year ahead of time. You're gonna double up on movies. But all right, well, I got a new movie coming out in summer next year, so I better start watching these movies now. I got 14 months left.
So I did it this time. And this time I took Captain Marvel's release into consideration. So you watched that on that weekend instead of another movie on DVD. But I've got an interesting list laid out for it, Mike. It's not the normal watch order that you would just watch them in release order. So you've seen it. I've sent it to you before. But if you guys want to check that out, head over to Comic UI. That list is up. I might get to watch Iron Man tonight, knock on wood, before I go to bed. But Iron Man would started this weekend, so one a week up until Avengers 4, knock on wood. If people want to know more about Superhero Slate, maybe they've picked up the show from the first time from the Supercon, and they want to know more. Where can they learn more about Superhero Slate at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find all the avenues we host our little show and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to see like that screenshot of Hellboy, or if you want to see all of these leaked pop vinyls that Chris has a picture of, all you got to do is check out our show notes. You can catch up with the news super quick there. Actually, I really like our website because there's no ads, there's no pop-ups on it. You just get your information there, and it just helps you the best you can to subscribe to our podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and we'll put it anywhere else you want to listen to it. So if you have some sort of weird podcast streaming app that we're not familiar with, just let us know and we'll host it on there. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. Put our logo on a shirt, on a mug, on a cup, on a mouse pad. You can put it on just about anything, and you can share the love of Superhero Slate. Yeah. See, Chris is on top of it. Be like Chris. We love hearing from you. So if you're a fan, you can shout out us on Twitter. You can tweet us news, like apparently has been happening this week.
Yes.
So if you think we might miss something, send it to Chris or send it to me or send it to the Superhero Slate tag, and we get it. We love hearing from you. Drop us a comment on YouTube. That's why we do this show, because we love hearing from you guys. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend. Share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. And when we say that, you can trust us, because we've been here every week for like the last 4 years. So we're 200 episodes in. I would say we are just getting started. So go out there, be the best super fan you can be.
Yeah, that's right. We love our super fans, and thanks everyone for sticking around after all this time, because I know I've given up on things a lot sooner than 200 episodes. That's for sure. So.
That is the truth.
All
right, everybody.
We'll catch you next week.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Somebody somewhere in my life, I don't know if it was in person or on TV, either made a joke or referenced French bread pizzas in the last 2 weeks.